SMD Law is the official law firm of the Spartan Nation. Check them out on the interwebs at smdalaw.com or at 866-529-3537. No matter where you are in the state of Michigan, Upper Peninsula, Lower Peninsula, it doesn't matter. They have an office near you. So whether you need to send a letter to an annoying neighbor, or you're a criminal and you need defense, maybe you just have problems with elder law, check them out, smdalaw.com today. The official law firm of the Spartan Nation. Call them first, then you act.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back, Spartan Nation. Now, each and every week during the football season, we bring in Coach Grenier, and we go through the good, the bad, and the ugly for the Spartans. And after after 4 games, I apologize. After 4 games, the Spartans are 3-1, heading into rivalry week with Michigan. So let's bring them in. Coach, how are you?
I'm good. How are you tonight, Arnold?
I'm doing good. Now, let's start, first of all, with the good. Several things stick out to me. I love the way Felton Davis is playing. I like the fact that they're getting a ton of wide receivers in there. That's all Terrence Samuel. I love that on the offensive side of the ball. I love the way Jake Hartbarger is punting, the way Colin Kafflish is snapping, and I'm very happy with the defensive line, and I'm really happy with the defense as a whole. Those are the good. Where do you disagree, or your thoughts on those?
No, I think you're absolutely right on that. Felton Davis is playing. You know, the Michigan State has had some really good wide receivers in the past, and usually they really start shining by their senior year. And you can name a whole list of them there, B.J. Cunningham, and, you know, the list goes on, and they usually come and they really kind of blossom late in their MSU career. And Felton Davis is early in his career here. I believe is he a redshirt sophomore or just a junior?
No, he did not redshirt. He's a junior.
Okay, he's a junior. So he's kind of like ahead of it, but, you know, he catches the ball fearlessly, and that's really important for the wide receivers. He catches the ball with his hands. So I'm a big fan of Felton Davis. I think he's doing an excellent job. And, you know, part of the ugly part on that was, where was he in the second half? I think they kind of let him.
Hey, don't get ahead of us.
Game.
Don't get ahead of us.
I won't.
All right, so now let's talk about the bad. I have no rhyme or reason. First of all, did you see the scouting report and prediction I wrote before the game? And did you hear my question to D'Antonio about the changing of the power running game? And did you see the video with L.J. Scott's response?
I did not see that video, but yeah, I looked over that stuff. Yeah.
All right, please go watch the video with L.J. Scott. When I ask him, you know, you're a power back, Madre's a power back, Gerald's a power back. What do you think of lining up 5 yards next to the quarterback rather than behind him with a fullback at 8 yards and getting a full head of steam? Just watch the video. You know what?
Yeah. Okay.
Just please watch it as soon as we get off here, and then I want you to call me back and just for you and I to talk privately, okay?
I'll do that.
Okay, so I have no rhyme or reason for this offense. I do not listen. I am not saying that they can't have elements of spread. I think you have to have that when teams are loaded up and stacking the box for a power running game. But they're going away from their tight ends, and their tight ends are good. Their running game is not working because they've switched to so many RPOs. It's like they've tailored their offense to what Brian Lewerke does well, rather than tailoring it to what their talent around him does. I'm baffled by this offense, Coach. Where am I wrong? I think this is the bad.
No, I rewatched the game, and I wrote on the forum also some thoughts that I had there. And you've got basically a really young, inexperienced offensive line. And when you're running that type of offense, my opinion, of course, when you're running that type of offense, you're really taking a lot of the charge out of them. And if you watch that game again and just concentrate on the offensive line, the offensive line is catching. If you're familiar with that term, they're kind of accepting the blow of the defense, and I don't think they're strong enough and experienced enough to play that way. The things that they were running, I cannot remember watching an MSU team pull linemen as much as I did in that last game, and it basically unsuccessful. I thought, things would get changed maybe at halftime, adjustments would be made, and they came out in the second half.
There was
I don't know
none.
if you remember, I didn't see any. I didn't see any, but there was a crucial fourth down play in which MSU had to make that because they were getting in scoring point positions and coming away with nothing. And they needed to keep driving the ball, if anything, burning up the clock in a crucial fourth down and one or less play, and they ran it right in between the guards again, which had got nothing for them all game long. It was almost devastating to watch something like that. How could you call that play? But no, the power game. You got Holmes right here's a bruiser. You got London that has a little bit more speed and quickness and finesse, and then you got L.J. Scott, which is like a combination of both of them. And you're taking the game out of their hands by not playing that power game again. I saw at one time they brought in Giaconakis. I think I said his name correctly.
Giannakakos.
And he wears he wears number 94 now, which in the past they've always took one of those tackles and they put a receiver number on him, and they've led him around the ends and helped to block and fill and do all kinds of kick out blocks and they're just not using him correctly, in my opinion. If you want to get around the corner and you got to seal that edge, and you got a fullback, you got Giaconakis, and those type of tight ends, can pull your uncovered linemen, and then you run your power plays. But no, I was just mystified. I guess that's a better word of watching what the game plan was. It wasn't working for the running. The passing game was coming along. I don't know if you're sacrificing or what, but they just looked really bad against Iowa.
You can read Coach Grenier's comments on the Phalanx Forum, our official premium message board at Spartan Nation. Go check it out. Coach, I want to stay in this same vein for a moment, please. We talked about the good and the bad. Now let's talk about the to be determined. Mark D'Antonio said before the season that for this team to have success, they were going to have to run the ball and use their tight ends. I don't think we can judge the tight ends because we haven't seen enough of them. I very much like what I've seen, but we're not seeing any. So I think you almost have to not give a grade to the tight ends, but that's on Dave Warner. That's not on them.
Yeah, I think you can judge the tight ends, in my opinion. I look out there, I see Sokol. Sokol is doing a fine job. He catches the ball well. He gets downfield. He runs nice, crisp patterns. I think you can judge him on the limited amount of use that they have them. So if they would get to using them a little bit more frequently, and I thought even in the forum when I wrote on that one, I thought the running game would have been helped out enormously if they would have been pitching the ball to the tight end, running some out plays or out patterns with their wide receivers, backing off those linebackers a little bit, putting some hesitation into the defensive lineman. It just didn't make any sense.
Okay, now let's go back to a bad. The tight ends were what I had as the incomplete. Kickoffs not getting in the end zone. I mean, there's no excuse for it. You've got all these kickers on your roster. At some point, you got to give. I mean, Cole Haan, religiously in high school, booted it out of the end zone. I know they don't want to break a red shirt, but you're killing yourself with field position on kickoffs.
5 kickoffs against Iowa, all 5 bad. I think that says it all. When he did kick off at the beginning of the game, they were low and they were short, catching them on the field of play, not in the end zone, and allowing for run backs. I think later in the game, he was not doing a good job of getting them high and deep. So I think they did those funky little kicks that they did there, short, popping them up a little bit, and then just hoping that a guy that could not return it would catch the ball, and they would be able to tackle that guy. Now they're going into this game with Michigan with guys that can return it. So I think at this point, if you're a smart coach, you rip the red shirt off on Haan if he can kick it in the end zone, and you make him go 75 yards.
I agree with you, Coach. All right. One thing we forgot about in the good, absolutely forgot about, but we shouldn't have, Jake Hartbarger. I mean, I mentioned it briefly. Him and Kaflish have been good, but your thoughts on Jake Hartbarger, who's been nothing short of a weapon?
Didn't score any points in the first. We scored 14 in the first half, or 17 in the first half, and Hartberger, he was able to keep Iowa down inside the 15-yard line for most of the half, and the defense came up strong, and we had field position multiple times from the 40-yard line and in close. And we still didn't score many points off of that in the first half. So he basically kicked Iowa deep and kept them deep, kept them conservative in their play calling, and keep them from going down the field and getting on the board. So, yeah, he had a great game. He was phenomenal.
I agree. All right, Coach, before I get you out of here, I can't let you go without talking about this Saturday. Actually, I want to talk Michigan. I want to get your take. I'll give my take and my scouting report and prediction. What's your thoughts?
This is going to be a tough one. Michigan, I think, has got maybe the best linebacker in the Big Ten. I really like that Devin Bush. He's everywhere, and he's tough. He's one of those ball players that seem to be where the ball is all the time. The defensive line is strong. They have really good, adequate corners, safeties. Their defense is going to be real tough. So scoring points is going to be a premium for Michigan State. And if we get field position, we can't let it happen like we did in Iowa. We got to get some points out of it, 3-7, whatever, on that one. Defensively, we should play them pretty tough defensively because their quarterback is down, and O'Korn looks like he's going to be the quarterback this week. I think what you're going to see from Harbaugh, in my opinion, is not a great coach, but he's an extremely smart coach. And when Spade went down, first thing you saw him do was bring in tight end packages and made the game simple for their quarterback. A good lesson for our offensive coordinator, maybe. But I think it's going to be a real tight game. I think Michigan's defense is too much for us. I don't know if we're going to be able to score the points, and I think it's going to go Michigan's way.
I'm going to tell you this. I think Michigan has a great defense. I think Michigan State has a very good defense. I don't think Michigan's offense is great. I think Michigan State's offense has considerably more weapons than Michigan.
I do.
But I'm sorry. I got to see a game of play calling where it isn't stubbornness. I am worried, and I haven't made my prediction yet. I am worried this is going to be like when they played Alabama in the college football playoff when Saban said they are absolutely stubborn. If Michigan State stays stubborn, they're going to get their butts handed to them. If they open it up and they use the pass to set up the run so Michigan can't load the box, I think they can win this game.
Well, I'm not sure. I think stubborn's good. You saw that in the Iowa game. If you come into that first half and you don't change your game plan, and you come out the second half and do the same thing, it's just baffling that could happen. But I think they have a good enough defense. The safeties still bother me some. The defensive end position, it looks like, is getting a little bit better. Linebacking and defensive tackles for us are really doing a great job this year. But you can't hope for really fortunate fumbles every game to win a game, and I think in the Iowa game that might have happened.
I agree. All right, he's the great Coach Chuck in here. Coach, real quick, give me your prediction for Saturday. Give me a score.
I'm going to go 24-10, Michigan.
All right, Coach Chuck in here. All right.